Time is the most precious resource that we all possess, yet it is often the most wasted, because while we can regain lost money, rebuild lost health, or repair broken relationships, the one thing we can never recover is time once it has passed. And that is why people throughout history have described it as more valuable than gold, more powerful than any weapon, and more decisive than any advantage, for it shapes destinies silently, second by second. And in my own life, I have realized this truth in ways that left deep marks on my memory. I still remember as a school student how I used to waste my evenings endlessly playing games, gossiping with friends, and convincing myself that I had plenty of time to study, plenty of time to prepare, plenty of time to shape a future. Until one day during my exams I entered the hall knowing full well that I had not honored the hours that had been given to me. And as I stared at the paper, blank in places where I should have been confident, I felt the crushing weight of regret. Not because the exam was impossible, but because I had thrown away the time that could have made it easy. And that day, as I walked out of the hall with a heavy heart, I made a promise to myself never again to treat time lightly. Because unlike marks or grades, which can sometimes be recovered in re-exams, the hours wasted in laziness and procrastination never return, they vanish forever, leaving only regret. Yet life is generous in the way it offers second chances, not in the form of the same hours, but in the form of new opportunities. And later in my college years, I decided to live differently, to value my mornings, to sacrifice late-night distractions, and to treat time as a sacred gift. And though the change was uncomfortable at first, waking up early, dedicating time to reading, practicing skills, and working with discipline, I began to notice how those small daily investments multiply. How projects that once felt impossible became achievable, and how confidence replaced doubt, until one day a professor asked me how I managed to balance academics, extracurriculars, and personal growth so effectively, and I simply smiled and said, I stopped wasting time, and that turning point became the foundation of all the success and joy I later experienced, teaching me that time, when respected, rewards us with achievements we once thought out of reach. And if my first story is a reminder of the pain of wasted time, my second is a celebration of the power of disciplined time. Because during a crucial internship period, I once had to juggle multiple tasks that seemed overwhelming. But instead of panicking, I applied the lesson of valuing every minute, breaking tasks into pieces, refusing to surrender hours to distraction, and focusing entirely on the moment at hand. Within weeks, I realized I had grown in skill and confidence far beyond my expectations, securing praise from mentors and even surprising myself, all because I refused to let time slip unnoticed. And friends, these personal experiences are not unique to me. They are lessons that every human being eventually encounters, because time is universal, impartial, and unforgiving. It does not slow down for the lazy nor speed up for the ambitious. It simply moves forward. And the choice is always ours, whether we flow with it or fight against it. History itself proves this truth. For the greatest leaders and thinkers of the world, be it Abraham Lincoln rising from poverty to the presidency, or Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam climbing from a small town to become the missile man of India and president, or Thomas Edison transforming thousands of failures into the light bulb that lit the world, they all had the same 24 hours as us, the same ticking clock, the same fleeting seconds, but the difference was that they valued those seconds as treasures. They refused to waste them, and thus they turned time into triumph. On the other hand, the regret of wasted time is one of the most painful feelings known to humanity, because no one on their deathbed says, I wish I had more money. Instead, most whisper, I wish I had more time. And this simple truth should shake us awake, because it means that every second right now is a future memory, future regret, or a future victory, depending on how we choose to use it. And the saddest words in any language are perhaps too late. Because those words are always tied to time we did not value. So how should we live? How should we treat this gift, this relentless river called time? The answer is time management. Not as a cold mechanical routine, but as a conscious lifestyle, where we prioritize what truly matters, eliminate distractions that eat our hours, plan our days with intention, and use technology wisely instead of letting it consume us. Because every scroll, every delay, every excuse is a thief stealing moments we can never get back. And when I look back at my school years, I realized that procrastination was my biggest enemy. Whispering tomorrow into my ear until tomorrow turned into regret. And when I look at my later achievements, I see that discipline was my greatest ally, whispering now until now turned into success. And that is the ultimate choice life gives us daily: regret or reward, excuses or execution, wasted time or invested time. And to anyone listening, I say this with all the passion I can. Your dreams, your future, your relationships, your health, your character. Everything depends on how you use your time, because time is not just hours on a clock. It is the measure of your very life. It is the canvas on which you paint your destiny, and every brushstroke is a second gone forever. So use it wisely, because when you do, time itself becomes your ally, guiding you to places you once thought impossible. But if you neglect it, time becomes your enemy, dragging you into pits of regret. And so I urge you, as one who has wasted time and suffered regret, and as one who has respected time and reaped reward, never underestimate this gift. For if you value time, time will value you, and your life will shine with the